I cut the check, I cut the check, I cut the check. Tell my niggas we up next, so we up next. She shot a text, she shot a text, she shot a text. Kill the I might put the different day, put a nigga on that same shit. I've been ballin' with my niggas, Kevin Cambridge. Oh, you drippy, but you better tuck your chain quick.
What's up, guys? We back here in Between the Lines. And today I'm going to talk about the NFL. I'm going to talk about Roger Goodell's comments on Colin Kaepernick. And I'm going to talk about how people reacted to what he said. And then I'm going to talk about my top 10 point guards in the NBA. So let's get into it. So now, Roger Goodell, he's starting to influence teams to at least look at Colin Kaepernick. Now, if you don't know, Colin Kaepernick, he was in the league a couple years ago, and he wanted to make a statement because of everything that's going on in the world and racial injustice and stuff. So he started kneeling throughout the Pledge of Allegiance. Star Spangled Banner. So he started kneeling, and during that time, Donald Trump was the president. He didn't like that, so he basically told Roger Goodell to get him out the league. And that's basically what happened. He got blackballed out the league. Nobody wanted to sign him. Nobody wanted to look at him. So he didn't have no job. So now that with all the stuff going on in the world and everybody, all the black people and other races, they're fighting for racial injustice. Now with all that going on, Roger Goodell wants to say that he actually wants Colin Kaepernick back in the league. And people didn't like that because now, like, why now? Why you ain't do this? Why did you influence him to get out the league at first? Now you want him back in the league? Is that because you want to save face and recognize what you did? And throughout this time, that would be something good for you to do? Like, that don't seem right. And so Coach Popovich, the coach of the Spurs in the NBA, he said that he didn't like the comments because he said when Trump said get him out the league, Roger Goodell folded and he didn't express his feelings the right way. Like, I want to say Roger Goodell didn't want him out the league, but since Trump is the president and Trump has a major influence on everything, he just felt like he had to get him out. So Popovich said he folded and he caved into what the president was saying. So that got Kaepernick out the league, and that he's saying all this stuff that Roger Goodell's trying to do right now. He doesn't believe it. He just feels like he's doing it just because what's going on around the world, and that would be like a bright spot, and that would make him look good, which I can agree with that, but I don't know. We'll see. I hope he gets back in the league. I mean, it's a lot of teams with quarterbacks, but you can always use him, especially because he's so versatile. He can run, throw. He's a great leader, obviously. He's a great leader in what's going on outside of football, so that would be a good signing for any team. But that's all it from NFL. Their season's coming back. They just announced that Lamar Jackson is going to be the cover of Madden. So if you guys play Madden, he's going to be the cover MVP in his second year. So that's great. But it's not really that much news in football because they're basically already set on coming back. Even though it might be crazy for them to come back because in the winter and the fall, that's when coronavirus is supposed to come back. Like how it came in. So it's supposed to be crazier in the fall and the winter. So we'll see if they actually come back. But that's it. Alright, so before I get into my top 10 point guards in the league, I want to talk about the news that's in the NBA where they don't really know. Now it's like getting up in the air if they're coming back. Adam Silver says he's coming back, but like if you guys don't know, they're supposed to play in Florida, and Florida probably has the worst coronavirus cases in this country. Their cases they keep going up. They just set a record for it yesterday. I think it was 4,000 in one night as far as cases. So that can be a little weigh in to see if the NBA is going to come back. I don't know if now that a lot of players might look at it like that's too big of a risk to go out there just to play, especially for the players that's probably not really going to make the finals and win the championship. They're gonna look at it a different way as far as protecting themselves and their family, which I can agree with. I would do the same thing if I really was going to Orlando just to play and not really to make a championship run. I would stay my ass in the house. But I'm going to hop into my top 10 point guards. So it's the point guard position is really a heavy position in the league. It's a revolutionary position because it's so many legends in the league right now. That's a point guard. So many Hall of Famers. So let's get into it. I'm gonna start from the bottom up. So my number 10 point guard is Kyle Lowry. Now, you guys already heard me talk about Kyle Lowry the last few videos. Like I said, I always feel like he's underrated because his production is not up there with the Steph Curry's, Damian Lillard's, Russell Westbrook's, Chris Paul, and them. His production is not up there, but his production for the team is second to none. He averages 9.7 points, 4.8 rebounds, 7.7 assists, shooting 41% from the field and 35 from three. And he's a point guard that a lot of teams will want because he's a great playmaker, great defender, great leader, is a team player. He's not the person that really wants to score. He just wants to win. He's a winner. He just wants to win. But like, if you need scoring, he can give you that. And he's really an underrated playoff player. Like I said a couple episodes ago, he usually gets that little nod that like he's not good in the playoffs, and that's past. And that's like 3 years ago when it was him and DeMar DeRozan, and then they had to keep playing LeBron. Nobody's gonna really do good against LeBron in the playoffs unless you're the Warriors. So I don't know what people expected from him. He's not like no great player to like actually go toe to toe with LeBron. So like the fact that he keeps losing to the Cavaliers it was nothing surprising to a lot of people. So I don't know why he got that look that he was terrible in the playoffs. It's not you can do. It's LeBron, arguably the best player to ever live. So, but Kyle Lowry, great scorer when needed, great playmaker. He's having an off year as far as his shooting percentages. He's usually a consistent player, but I can see that because he's taking a step back as far as letting like Pascal, Fred VanVleet, letting them score the ball, letting them be the main options. And he also been hurt consistently. Like he's been hurt a lot this year, but he also has enough games played for he was an all-star, and he might be an all NBA player. It depends on how it ends out. But yeah, Kyle Lowry just that great player that everybody wants on their team, and a great leader that the way he plays can impact where the Raptors go in this playoffs, because the young guys they have, the only experience they had is from last year when they went to that title and won. But they were getting carried by Kawhi, but now they're actually a team. So, and he's the leader, so let's see what they do in the playoffs. But my next player is Kemba Walker. So he's having an off year, but it's not really like an off year. He's having an off year because he's not getting the same points. He's not that Kemba we know, the assassin. That's because he's playing behind Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and he's a team player, so he understands that these guys got to learn, these guys got to build. I'm older, so I'm going to take this step back, but if you guys need me, you know I'm always here. And that's what I see him do. He's a great leader, a great team player. Normally, what we've seen in the last couple years of the Celtics, it was just Kyrie, ISO ball, ISO ball, ISO ball. So Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown couldn't grow. But now they got what I thought was a similar player to Kyrie, but Kemba Walker's shown me different this season, that he's nowhere near like him. He's a team player. He wants to win. Kemba Walker in the beginning of the season, before the season start, he texted Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. He said, I want to ask you guys, how do you win in the playoffs? And that's crazy because he's a veteran. They're only 2 years, 3 years into the league. But they made that one conference finals run, and he understands he just wants to win. So that's why he did that. He's averaging 21.2 points, which is really good. But like Kemba's normally 25, 26. But again, to be averaging that amount of points behind Jason Tatum, 23-point score, Jaylen Brown, 21, that's really good. So this team's deep. 21.2 points, 4.1 rebounds, 4.9 assists, 42 from the field, 37.7 from the three. So like he's having a great year. This team is number 3 in the East. So he's doing his part, one of the best ISO scorers in the league. So when they need a bucket, he's always there with that patented step back that he had ever since college. And just a great leader, very unselfish player, very unselfish. And like I said, with the Raptors, the head of this team is Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They're young. They have a little bit of playoff experience, but it's not that much to say we're going to see the same Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown in the playoffs, because the playoffs is a whole different atmosphere. The game slows down. So if they was to need Kemba, he'll be right there, because he doesn't have that much playoff experience, but it's Kemba Walker. Like, we all know, like, he's never been an inconsistent player. He's always a player to show up. So we all know that Kemba Walker is going to be a great player in the playoffs, and this team can go real far with Kemba. So I can't wait to see this team in the playoffs. But yeah, Kemba's my number 9 point guard. So my number 8 point guard is Trey Young. Now me, I've never really told this story, but like I told y'all in the past, I'm a Colin Sexton fan. And in high school and in college, Colin Sexton and Trey Young always battled. So I used to be down on Trey Young, because, like, you're going against my favorite player. I'm not going to really like you. If you guys are a rival, I'm not going to really like you. So, yeah, he used to always go against Colin. And when he got to the league, I was like, oh, he's not going to be that good. He's too small. He's way too small. And his scoring is good, but, like, scoring and playmaking, that's it. But I was wrong. I was really wrong. I didn't think he was going to be a great scorer. The dude is averaging 29.6, 4.3 rebounds, and 9.3 assists on good efficiency from the three in his second year. All-star starter in his second year. Most likely all-NBA player in his second year. A great scorer at his size. It's amazing how he's doing what he does every night. He's not afraid to go down there with the trees and get points in the paint. Like, he's a great playmaker, great player. I love watching Trey Young. He's one of my favorite players now, even though I used to didn't like him. I just put that little dumb stuff beside, and I paid attention to his game. Great ISO scorer, great playmaker. I feel like his sidekick John Collins, like, they fit so perfectly together, because the pick and roll, John Collins can easily fade out and shoot. He shoots 40% from the three, or he can go up for the alley-oop, because he's really athletic, and Trey Young knows where to put the passes at, because he's one of the best passers in this league in his second year. And I really didn't see that coming into his career, because when he was at Oklahoma, he was just a great scorer, and I didn't think that would come up to the NBA. But yeah, I said, like, this team's a real young team, so, like, they're not that good. They're in the bottom of the East, but, like, you can tell from watching Trey Young, if you put great pieces beside him, like players that play defense, players that can shoot, that can drive, and get their own buckets when he goes to the bench, like, he can carry this team deep into the playoffs, and it will be that playoff seed. So, like, this team has a lot of direction, because it's not really hard to build a team around Trey Young. You already got the perfect power forward for him. And I think with the trade they did with Clint Capella, another dude that can roll and get those alley-hoops, get those rebounds, and, like, I think they're good on the front court. They just got to work on these wings. Cam Reddish, he can be that guy. DeAndre Hunter can be that guy, but, like, they're so young. So it might take them a long time. So I think a perfect dude next to Trey Young would be Drew Holiday, a person that can score, stick elite defense around the wing, can stick 1 through 3. So I feel like if you just put the best pieces beside Trey Young, he can carry this team a long way, because Trey Young's never going to be that good on the defensive side. Like, he'll give you effort. He'll give you that, but, like, you can tell, like, he's always going to be a liability. Like, he's too small. And I'm not saying small people can stick defense, because look at Patrick Beverley, 6'1", one of the best defenders. But Trey Young he has so much energy on the offensive side. I understand why he's not doing good on the defensive side, because he carries that load on the offensive side. So we'll just see. We'll see what that what the GM will do as far as building around him. But I think this is my 6th. No, this is my 7th. Sorry, this is my 7-point guard. Ben Simmons. I talked about him in a couple of videos too, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. But Ben Simmons, I was going to put him over players that's in my top 6, but I'm not going to do that, because that would be a little biased. And as far as this, you don't want to be biased, because, like, this is like a profession. even though I'm not really up there yet, but I will be. But yeah. Ben Simmons, like I said, gives you 16.7 points, 7.7 rebounds, 8.2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block a game. Actually, 2 steals and 1 block a game. Elite defender. Really elite. And elite playmaker. But, like I said before, I think being behind Joel Embiid is holding him back. And I feel like if they lose early in the playoffs, you would have to trade him. But then again, you can easily say, well, we was out of basketball for 4 months. So, like, it's so much stuff you can say for people that's going to lose in the playoffs that, like, you might not see a lot of moves in the free agency, or a lot of coaches might not get fired because, like, you don't know. Like, they were probably hot going into the hiatus, and then during that 4-month hiatus, they just cooled off. And, like, now they did bad in the playoffs. So, you can use that as, like, an excuse, I can say, to, like, not make changes to your team. But I just feel like it's about time for this team to change because, like, we seen what Joel does without Ben Simmons. He's great. We seen what Ben Simmons do without Joel. Like, they're both great. Like I said, Ben Simmons without Joel, 21.5, 9.4, 7.7, 7.5. Like, his stats increase without Joel because the ball is always in his hand. And he feels free to go into the paint instead of, like, hesitating because you got a dominant big man that also got to get his points in the paint. So I just feel like I said with Trey Young, this team, this building around Ben Simmons won't be hard. Just put shooting around him and put like a wing that can score on his own. Like, Tobias Harris is good, but, like, he's so inconsistent. Like, you just need somebody better beside Ben Simmons that you can rely on because, like I said, Ben Simmons, he's not that scorer, but as far as driving, embodying those little point guards that you put up against him, it's easy for him. That's why he gets his points. So I just feel like you got to put somebody that's dominant, another, not a ball dominant player, but like a person that can give you buckets when Ben Simmons is on the bench or when Ben Simmons is not doing that good. Like, you need another 2 that can score beside Ben Simmons. Like, Devin Booker would be perfect beside Ben Simmons because he can play, make, and score on the elite level. So we'll see. But it's crazy that Ben Simmons can do this without shooting. And to me, I'm gonna throw out my sixth player. I think I'm gonna throw out my sixth player, Kyrie. But to me, if you was to ask me, I would take Ben Simmons over Kyrie. And I'm going to go into that. So, my sixth player is Kyrie. So, Kyrie is a great offensive player. Great basketball player in general. Off the court, so much distractions. Like, I wouldn't want that on my team. I wouldn't at all. And we seen when he doesn't play, his team is getting held back because he's so ball heavy. Like, we seen that before LeBron came to the Cavs. The Cavs were trash. And then Kyrie slid into that number 2 option behind LeBron, and now they're one of the best teams in the league. We seen when Kyrie got hurt, the Celtics went to the conference finals. But then when he came back the next year, they lost in the second round. Like, I'm not going to say he's not a winning player, but he's not that number 1 leader that I would want on my team. Yes, he gives you 27 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, which is good for Kyrie because Kyrie's not really that playmaker, but 6 assists, that's pretty good for a point guard. And he's really efficient. So I'm just saying he's just not that leader I would want with on my team. And it's crazy to say that teams do better without him because he's such a great player, but I don't know. Just for me, I wouldn't want him on my team, man. I wouldn't. I would take Ben Simmons in a heartbeat because Ben Simmons gives me both sides of the ball at an elite level, like I said. But I don't know. Kyrie's a great player, though. I had to put him on this list, and I had to put him over Ben Simmons because he is better than Ben Simmons, but he's not. I wouldn't want him over Ben Simmons. Not at all. But number 5, we got Chris Paul. Now, for the season, you can ask anybody. I don't even think Chris Paul will probably be number 10 on this list, or not even on this list. Like podcasts I watch when they do this, name their top 5 point guards. I didn't even see Chris Paul, but during this season, he showed that like he didn't lose nothing. Like age didn't phase him. He's still the same Chris Paul back from back in the day. Like, yeah, he's not giving you the scoring or the assists. Like, he's only averaging 6.8 assists. We know Chris Paul is like damn near a double-digit assist person every year, and he's only giving you 17.7 points. But he impacts the game in so much different stuff in the league. He's leading the league in clutch points. Now that's a stat where they see how much you do in the last 3 minutes of the game. So he's won his team the game in a lot of games because he's a leader in the league in clutch points. So, like I said, I just feel like on this team, he's great. Because, like I said, he's a great defender, great leader. He's out here having other 3 guys on his team averaging 20 points while he takes that step back. Because Chris Paul can easily average 20 points. But, like, he's taking a step back, letting Shea, Dennis Schroeder, Danilo Gallinari, he's letting them get their buckets, do what they want to do. But he's taking that step back. But you know he's still that leader. And you know when it comes to clutch time, you got to give the ball to him. You got to. Because he's the leader of the team. One of the best players in the clutch. And I just feel like this team's going to be good in the playoffs. And it's mainly because of him. Because, like, he's a winner. He has that experience. Yes, he never been to the championship. But, like, he got hurt. Like, he got hurt when he was on the Clippers and they played the Spurs. He hit that game winner. But then I think he hurt his quad or something. So he couldn't play that whole next series. So they probably would have went to the championship if he would have played. Because they went to the Western Conference Finals and lost. And then got hurt either last year. He got hurt last year, and he got hurt the year before that, where they was in a Game 7 and they lost because they didn't have him because he hurt, I want to say, his quad again or his hip, something like that. So, but we always know Chris Paul is that great leader and that player that can play in the playoffs. And like I said in a couple episodes ago, I like him on this team, but like I feel like for him to get that championship, he would be so perfect next to Giannis on the Bucks. Because, like I said, the Bucks don't have that closer, don't have that. Giannis is a leader, but when it comes to the playoffs, you can see Giannis fade away a little bit. Like, Chris Paul would be that perfect person next to Giannis because he can do everything. Play make, score, and help y'all in the clutch, what they need. So, I don't know, but he's top 5 to me as a point guard. Great point guard. I would love him on this team. I would love him on my team on the Lakers, but can't happen. He makes $38 million. Next year is going to be $44 million. It's a lot of money for a 35-year-old point guard, but he's still one of the best, though. He's still one of the best. But my 4th point guard is Russell Westbrook. Now, Russell Westbrook, I want to say, in the beginning of the season, he was having a bad year. Kept shooting the ball, not understanding that he's not the old Russell Westbrook. He can't shoot like that no more. Shooting from the threes is not him. And you could argue that he was an all-star. Then it got to a point where he started turning up in December and January. So that made him an all-star. And he averaged 27.5, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 47 from the field, but 25 from 3. So around that time, when he started turning up, what he did was he stopped shooting threes. He went to his bread and butter, and he went to the mid-range where he gets most of his points and then off a drive. So, like, he understood that, like, shooting is not for him, so he's going to impact the game in other ways. He's going to still give you the assist that he used to give, even though it's not double digits like we used to him doing. But, like, for him to average these numbers next to a ball-dominant player in James Harden, one of the most ball-dominant players we've ever seen, it's crazy to me. It's crazy because I thought his stats were going to dip. Because Russell Westbrook needs that ball, but when he got traded to the Rockets, I was like, nah, they're not going to have the ball in his hands a lot. because you got to give James Harden his touches, one of the best players in the league. But Russell Westbrook showed that like he can do it off the ball, without the ball, and with the ball, giving us 27 points still giving us the same amount of assists, being that leader, being that grit and grind player, great defender, do it on both sides, and he's a great leader. He's that player you don't want to play against, but you would love him on your team because he's gonna fight for you. Like, he's gonna be that person you want to go into war with when it comes to playing time. Like, you really want to play next to Russell Westbrook because he's always gonna pick you up. He's always gonna have your back. Always gonna be behind you. And I really wasn't a big fan of Russell Westbrook. I thought he was overrated like the past few years, but like, when I paid attention to him and got past like all the attitudes that he had, like that really threw me off. Like all his little attitudes and like how he played, like that bully ball, which is great basketball, but like, I didn't like it. So when I got past all that, I was like, nah, this man is a great player, Hall of Famer. I hope he gets a ring. I don't think it's gonna be this year, but I hope he gets the ring. And I just love the way he understood. I can't shoot. Not no more. Like I'm shooting terribly, so I'm gonna just stop. I'm gonna just stop shooting and go to my bread and butter. One of the best mid-range players, easy size up on the small guard, and I feel like he's gonna be great in the playoffs. He never been that bad playoff performer. Like he went to a finals. He would have went to another one if Patrick Beverly didn't go after his knee and hurt him, but he's always been a great playoff player, and his workload is going to be higher because it's James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Robert Covington, PJ Tucker, and that's it. The Rockets don't have that much else, so he's going to have to play more. He's going to have to give us more scoring, more assists, more everything, and I feel like that's going to be easy for him. He's not going to shy away from that. But so my next player is second-year guard, 6'7" point guard, Luka Doncic. Now, to me, it's crazy because he's an MVP contender in year 2, and that's crazy. If he was to win this MVP, he would be the youngest MVP ever, next to Derrick Rose, and he deserved it. But can't put him over Giannis, can't put him over LeBron because they're the best players in the world, arguably together. You can argue either one. Sorry, you can argue either one. But Luka Doncic, he's out here giving us 28.7, 9.3 rebounds, 8.7 assists, shooting efficiently, almost giving you a triple-double every night. Like I said, he would have probably averaged a triple-double if the season didn't stop because he was basically doing it every night, giving us a triple-double every night. It was unstoppable for him. It was easy for him, like he said. He came from overseas, been playing professional ball since he was 16. He said it's easier to score over here than over there where he's from, and that's crazy because you're so young and like this is supposed to be the best league in the world, and you find this easy. that should be disrespectful to other players. They're like, wow, like other players out here struggling. He's saying, oh, this is easy. Like that's crazy. But like I said in another episode, as far as the advanced stats and analytics, this is one of the best offensive teams ever, and that's mainly because of him, because the ball is always on him. He always has the ball. Whether it's him doing that patented step back 3 that he always does, or doing that screen and pop with Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell, Kristoff, or throwing the alley hoop, or him doing a cross court pass, which he does that every game, which is crazy. You're on the other side of the 3-point line and you whip that ball all the way over there to the corner. Like he does that every game. Like his playmaking is elite, and I didn't see this last year because he was the main option last year, but like he wasn't doing none of this. He'll have games like this every often, but like now it's 28, 9, and 8 every game. And that's crazy for a second-year guard to do that. And this team is really dangerous in the playoffs. Like I said, it's so deep. And then you got this monster at the top and Luka, and then you got another one next to him and Kristoff. Like, this team's going to be crazy. I just feel like with him, the only thing holding him back is his shooting. He can shoot, but like everybody think he's a 3-point shooter because he always does that step back three, but they don't know, like, he's shooting 31% from the three. That's below average. So he just gonna have to get that up. And the crazy part about him, he don't shy away from the moment. Against LeBron, he's still out here giving you triple doubles. Like the first time they played this year, they both had 40-point triple doubles. So he was going at it with LeBron. That game's crazy. I'm gonna have to watch that later on. Like, he was going at it with LeBron. So this man crazy. Like, he already a top 10 player in his second year. That's crazy to say, especially about a person from overseas. Like, he's gonna be great. And with this team, it just runs through him. So I can't wait to see what he does in the playoffs. In his first playoff, I hope he does good. I'm rooting for this team. But when they face the Lakers, if they face the Lakers, you know, I'm Lakers to the day I die. You see that man right there. Damn. You see that man right there, RP Kobe. But my second favorite player, my second point guard is Damian Lillard. So he's the second best point guard in the league, averaging 28.9, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, shooting efficiently. But the thing that hops out to me is the 7.8 assists. Dame, we know he's a 28-point scorer a game. Like, we've been knew that. Like, we've been knew he's one of the best scorers in the game. But for him to average 7.8 assists is crazy to me because, like I said, with Kyrie, he's not that playmaking guard, and he's not that person. When you think about leading assists, like, you don't think you'll see Dame right up there with everybody else. But it's crazy to me that, like, he's actually up there. He's actually one of the best playmakers in the league as far as his assist goes. But the crazy part is his team was in the conference finals last year, and now they're fighting for a playoff spot. So that's crazy because they didn't really lose a lot. Yes, they lost their main center, but then they got back Hassan Whiteside, and he's having a great year. First team all defensive player potential. He can get there, but I don't know why this team's so bad. But, like, Damian Lillard's still doing what he does. Like, it's not holding him back at all. In January, he averaged 35.5 points, 8.6 rebounds. 8.6 assists. He had 60-point games, a 61-7 game, a 50-13 game against the Lakers, 61-7, like I said, against the Warriors, 47-8 against the Mavs, 48-10 against the Lakers, 51-12 against the Jazz. Like, he's not doing this against bad teams. Like, he's doing this against good teams. The only bad team you see there is the Warriors, and of course he gets the most points on them. But, like, title contender, 48-10 on the Lakers. One of the best defensive teams in the league on the Jazz, 51-12. Like, it's crazy. Like, in June, he was unstoppable. He came out on the first game since Kobe died, RP Kobe. The Lakers was playing at home. He came out and spoiled that game for us and dropped, what did it say? 47-8. No, 58-10. My fault. He dropped 48-10 and closed out that game along with Hassan Whiteside. He was unstoppable that game, shooting deep range threes, shooting from the logo. That's why they call him Logo Lillard. So this dude is real good, real good, and he's not no bum on the defensive side. He clamped up Russell Westbrook last year in the playoffs. Not all the way, but, like, it was hard for Russell Westbrook to score last year, and they was having that one-on-one battle the whole time. And what you seen from that battle, which why I put Damian Lillard over Russell Westbrook, is Russell Westbrook was so into that battle versus Damian Lillard. He didn't care about the rest of the team. Like, he didn't really realize as he's going at Damian Lillard, he's losing that battle, but his team's also losing because you're taking it too serious. Like, you're taking that one-on-one battle too serious, and, like, Damian Lillard, he's understanding, like, I'm gonna get my buckets, but I'm also gonna win this game. And then you get to where Damian Lillard shoots that game-winning shot and waves at Russell Westbrook and tell him to go home, and that's what happened. But yeah, Damian Lillard, one of the greatest basketball players in this league we had today, unstoppable on offense. He just needs that better sidekick. CJ McCollum's good and all, but, like, it would be better if his sidekick was like a 3. You, like, having two ball dominant guards is hard for this team. And like they've been together for so long, and for them to not really win nothing yet, it's almost gonna be time for them to split them up too. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what the Pacers do. Hopefully they can figure it out. Hopefully they can make the playoffs, but we'll know. So, my last point guard, the best point guard in the league, one of the best players ever, the best shooter ever, Stephen Curry. That's unanimous. Stephen Curry's been the best point guard in the league for the past few years. And, of course, he's having a bad year because he broke his hand. He only played, I want to say, 7 games this season, so his stats look terrible. Averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 40% from the field, 24% from the three. Like, that's not Steph Curry. We know Steph Curry is one of the best shooters ever, but also one of the most consistent players ever as far as shooting and just doing what he does. Like, there's never a time where Steph Curry's not playing like Steph Curry. Unless we're in Game 7 of the 2016 Finals. Like I said, he was terrible that game, but that's really the only game where he shied away from being Steph Curry. But last year, he had a great year, and what jumped out to me is he had great stats next to KD, one of the most, probably, arguably the best offensive player we've ever seen. And he's also ball dominant, but Steph Curry was a perfect sidekick next to him, averaging 27 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 47% from the field, 43% from the three. So above average from the three and almost average from the field. So we know him as one of the best players ever, and like, it's really not hard to put him over every other point guard in the league because he affects the game in so much ways. He's like, for defense, it's hard to stick Steph Curry. Not only he'll mix you up, he'll score on you, but Steph Curry loves to do is run around screens to get that open shot. So imagine it's chasing him around the whole game, around the whole court the whole time. And it's crazy. It's hard to guard Steph Curry. It's really hard to guard Steph Curry, but one of the top players in this league, top 7 players in this league, and that's basically it. There's really nothing to say about Steph Curry. Like, when you get to the top, it's hard to say about the players because, like, you know them. You know how good they are. And we know if Steph Curry would have played this whole year, he probably would have been an MVP conversation because it's Steph Curry. Like, what else can I say? But since he was hurt, his team was one of the worst teams in this league. But that's the main part because he was hurt, Klay Thompson was hurt, and they just got off from being injured all last year and losing in the finals to now coming into this league, playing players from the G League. Like, it was so much changes to them. So you could see that they were going to be one of the worst teams in this league right after he got hurt. But that's it, man. We know the top 10 point guards. We know who they are. You can comment under this video and say who you think top 10. Say where I messed up at. I think I got a good list. People might disagree with Kyle Lowry, but other than that, I think I'm good. But yeah, comment below, like, subscribe, click the bell so you can see when I upload every day. And that's it. We out.
Got the recipe.